Laylatul Qadr, which night was. And when he about to tell Sahaba, there were two Sahaba arguing, disputing each other. The Prophet ﷺ stopped and he made forgetting about the exact night. From this hadith, scholars told us it is very important to avoid any argument, especially in our mosques, especially within our household. To try, do your best to avoid. Avoiding argument is very good to receive the mercy, the answer from dua from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We conclude inshallah with our dua and leave some time for everyone to make his own dua.
So there's a few questions, sorry, forgive me, I missed these entirely. We have a couple of minutes, inshallah, we'll do a quick fire. I'll ask Sheikh to help me with this, inshallah, since I have him here. So a couple of questions would be, how would you advise a woman to do nafil i'tikaf at home? Because I mentioned i'tikaf and I mentioned for men, especially if you're coming to the masjid each time you come, you can just make an intention, inshallah, this is your period of your i'tikaf if you can't commit to the full thing. Whereas for a woman, if you're at home, and then you can do your own nafil i'tikaf. So I'll come back to that one. There's a specific science of Laylatul Qadr. I think there's a question here about that. I think I just mentioned a few. Okay, and then there's another question. If you ask someone to forgive you, but they don't forgive you unless you do something on their terms that you don't agree with, how can you get their forgiveness? Okay, so we'll answer some of these questions about nafil i'tikaf and the forgiveness. So starting just on the forgiveness point, as Sheikh, he mentioned the hadith, which I referred to earlier on, about the two men arguing, and I mentioned that you should try and Sheikh has he advised, don't argue, don't quarrel, try to forgive and let go, and don't hold any grudges against your fellow brother or sister. And I did qualify that by saying that some situations can be a little bit complicated. I'm not saying that it's as easy as just forgiving, alhamdulillah. That may be for some cases, for others it might not be. But if you ask someone to forgive you, but they don't forgive you unless it's on their terms, you have to remember something as well, that if you have forgiven someone for the sake of Allah, you've let it go from your heart, you've forgiven purely for the sake of Allah, then you have done what you need to do, right? That's your obligation. Then as for someone else forgiving you, right? You go to them, you're very sincere, you're apologetic, you try to make it up to them and so on and so forth. But then they're being stubborn. Let's say there's a situation where they're saying, no, I don't forgive you. Have you fulfilled your duty? Yeah, you've done as much as you can. You've forgiven them for the sake of Allah, you've tried, and you've made a genuine effort. Now you would know what genuine effort means for that person. If it's just a WhatsApp message, sorry, forgive me, maybe that's not effort. But if you go and you actually go and see them, you spend time, you try your best, you give them a gift, you buy them a gift, you try to make some effort, Allahu A'lam, maybe you've done the best that you can on your end. If they still don't forgive you, then you are not held accountable for that. You can't do much about that. You've done the best in your capacity. And likewise, if they try to do things on their own terms and you can't fulfill those things, if it's unfair terms, then again, you've done what you can. So I wouldn't stress too much about this. The main thing is, what can you do in your own capacity? That's what you need to try and fulfill, inshallah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if they have rights, and you should apologize. You should do the best you can on your terms, inshallah. And then the final question was about i'tikaf. Sheikh, if you want to just answer about the nafil i'tikaf courses.
It is permissible to do i'tikaf for all, but I remember the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu when Humayd al-Sa'idi, she is very Sahabi and she is very close to the Prophet sallallahu. She asked him, "Oh Prophet, I love to pray behind you." The Prophet sallallahu answered that by saying, "I know you love to pray behind me, but you pray in your inner chamber at your home is better than you do it at your room. You pray at your room is better than you pray at your home. You pray at home is better than you pray at your local mosque. You pray at your local mosque is better than you pray at my mosque." So this is the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. Having said that, it is permissible. Of course, the same condition for men or women are applicable for both. Listen. Oh, this is another legal issue now. I am not expert, but I think you need to have your parent consent because you're under the legal age. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه اللهم يا ربنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم يا رب العالمين يا كريم يا سميع يا قريب يا مجيب. As you gather us in this mosque, oh Allah, gather us in your Jannah, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, protect all of our families. Oh Allah, pour your rahmah on this gathering. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give victory for those people in Palestine. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, correct the condition of the whole ummah. Oh Allah, give us the virtue of Laylatul Qadr. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enable us to be upright in all the whole year. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. اللهم يا رب العالمين أصلحنا وأصلح أزواجنا وأصلح ذرياتنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا إلا يسرته. اللهم يا رب العالمين اللهم أهلك المجرمين الطاغين المتربصين بالإسلام يا رب العالمين. اللهم أنزل غوثك ومددك على إخواننا في غزة يا رب العالمين وفي فلسطين وفي كل مكان يستضعفون فيه. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين.